back to. Okay. Hello, it's Wednesday again, Nourish Project Night, and we are on week 11. It's crazy how this time has flown by with you ladies. So actually next week is our last call. So with this being our second to last call, I always like to talk about long-term strategies for success. It's so important that these 12 weeks, you're going to learn so much, but you cannot, you just, two options that most people do and why most people don't really succeed in their weight loss or their fat loss, is keep going at the exact same macros and just hold steady on the same diet. And as you guys are well aware by now, your metabolism eventually slows down to whatever calorie level you're eating at. So then the option is to cut calories again, or just fall off because you get frustrated and think, oh, this isn't working. What's the point? Or people just finish the diet and stop and go back to whatever they used to be doing. Neither one of those are great options. And so I'm going to talk with you tonight about what to do instead and how to really be in control of your nutrition and have a great plan that sets you up for long-term success and sets you up that you never really feel like you have to quote unquote go on a diet ever again. You just tweak your diet program a little bit here, a little bit there, but it's never like, oh my gosh, I'm going on spring break, I'm going to crash diet. Never again, ever, ever, ever. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and pull up these slides. Here we go. So the main thing I want you guys to take away from tonight is that you cannot be on a diet forever. You cannot. And if you remember nothing else than that, please remember you just cannot just be on a diet forever. Because what happens with most people, as I mentioned before, this is where what turns into yo-yo dieting. You're on whatever kind of diet plan you're on. And let's just say for now, it's tracking your macros. Your macros are set at a certain level. And at a certain point, it gets too restrictive and you're sick of tracking. You're sick of being in a deficit. It's getting stressful on your body because being in a deficit is stressful. And for whatever reason, you fall off. It's too much. And then you kind of bounce back the opposite direction. You're like, forget this whole thing. I've been starving myself, I've been depriving myself. And most people tend to bounce back the opposite direction by eating in a calorie surplus. Now, mind you, during the time you've been in a cut, your metabolism is going down, 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 down. And then you're all of a sudden eating more. And then what happens? You gain weight, right? Because your metabolism has slowed down and you've just quit the program that you're doing and sort of like swung too far in the opposite direction. And then get frustrated, decide to go on a diet again. And then you do something drastic because you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to lose these 10 pounds and I'm going to cut way down. And then, you lose weight a little bit. And then what happens? You fall off again. I mean, so it's basic classic yo-yo dieting, cutting calories way too low to get really fast results. Your metabolism slows down. You stop seeing the results, get frustrated, quit. And then you decide you want to lose weight, repeat and repeat. And in the meantime, what happens to your body is every time you do it, you gain the weight back plus a little bit more. Your metabolism slows down a little bit more. You're losing muscle instead of building muscle. And it's just like not the way that I want you guys to approach your health or your weight for long-term success. So what to do instead is this cycle that we've been already started on. So I'm going to start right here in the top. The blue part is a diet, or AKA a calorie deficit or a cut. You guys know I don't really like the word diet, or it's just so many different definitions of it, but being in some sort of calorie deficit or a cut to lose weight. throughout the time that we've been during the cut, we've already been taking mini diet breaks during our high carb days. That's exactly what that is like a mini diet break to make sure your metabolism doesn't slow down too much and that you don't suffer any long-term hormonal health problems. But regardless, even if you're taking perfect 2-day high carb days every single week, after a period of time, you have to take a diet break. And that means exactly what it sounds like, a break from being on a diet. And in terms of macros, it means eating at maintenance for at least a week or 2 weeks, or really as long as you want. So if you feel like you have reached your weight goal and you're happy with everything, you can just go on a diet break until things change. But if you feel like, okay, I still have more to lose to reach my weight loss goal, then I would recommend a diet break for 1 to 2 weeks and then go back into a second phase 2 cut. And another reason to take a diet break might be if you're seeing a plateau because you've been in a cut for a while. It might be just like a mental health issue, like it's stressing you out to track everything. It is hard on your body to be in a deficit. It's just hard to be that disciplined for a while. I've had clients take diet breaks for any of these reasons. Sometimes it aligns perfectly with like, the holidays are coming up and I don't want to be in a deficit during the holidays. I want to have that extra wiggle room. It might be like I'm going on spring break or, some kind of vacation and the timing sort of, aligns with it. Or I just feel like I need a break. That's okay too. It is okay to take a break, and it is so much better to take a break than to just like hammer home a restrictive diet, which hopefully none of you feel like you're like on a restrictive calorie level, but even at a 10% deficit, 10 to 20 where most of you are, still you do have to be pretty disciplined, and it just feels good to take a break once in a while. And then after the phase 2 cut is where you have to take a longer break called a reverse diet, which, Caroline has been talking about, we're doing with her now. And some clients, I start at the reverse diet because their metabolism has been adapted. So whether you are doing a reverse diet because you've done cut, phase 1 and phase 2 cuts, or because you're just starting and your metabolism is adapted, it is time to reverse. And what that means is slowly increasing your calories so it's not a total shocker to your system. I would say 50 to 100 calories per day each week. So it's very small increments. Keeping that protein as high as possible and then alternating with carbs and fat, how much you're increasing them. And if you're working with me, I will be like adjusting your macros every week. But if you are working on your own and you need to do it, I would say somewhere between 50 and 100. The goal of the reverse diet is to build up your metabolism, is to revive the health of your metabolism and your hormonal health. Sometimes people gain weight on a reverse diet. Sometimes they continue to lose weight. Sometimes their weight stays the same. Everyone is different, but you have to shift your mindset when you're doing the reverse to thinking about the goal is to restore your metabolic and hormonal health so that you can do another cut and go back into healthy long-term cycle. So sometimes that's really challenging for people, that mindset of like, oh, the scale isn't moving anymore. That's okay. The scale isn't always moving. This is a long game, and this is not about quick solution or like quick 5 to 10 pounds weight loss. This is about long-term hormonal health, long-term metabolic health, building up your metabolism so that in the long run, you can be eating 2,000 to 2,400 calories a day at maintenance and loving your body, right? It's not about always seeing that scale moving. Okay, so then after the reverse, when you baby step it up to your maintenance calories, which you can know how to calculate from the work we did in the beginning of this program, you need to stay here. So the reverse and the maintenance together has to be a period of 12 to 16 weeks. So this total cycle is a whole year. So the first cut, cut one, can be 12 to 16 weeks, and then a diet break of 1 to 2 weeks. Cut two can be another 12 to 16 weeks, and then a mandatory reverse and maintenance can be up to 12 to 16 weeks. And then what says maintenance slash bulk, and what that means is a bulk, women don't really love the term bulk. They picture themselves looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I promise that is not going to happen, even if you try really, really, really hard with a lot of steroids. But what it is a building phase where you're focusing on eating at a small surplus, lifting heavy and working out a little extra hard to use those calories to build muscle. And then from there, you're building up your metabolism even higher, putting additional muscle on your frame. And when you go into that next cut, which would be like phase 3, or the next year, starting again with a cut, your metabolism is going to be higher. You're going to have more muscle on your frame. So when you strip away some of that fat that you have also gained because you're in a surplus, you look leaner, you have a lower body fat percentage, and you have more muscle and lower body fat. So you have maybe the same weight as before you started the bulk or the building phase, but you're leaner and you get to eat more because your calories are the same. So I'm going to share these slides. You guys can go if you want. I know Caroline said she's like really interested in all the science. This is like all of what's going on in your body and with your hormones during each of these different phases. So I'm not going to go through that all right now because it's very detailed, but this slide has all the information of what is happening in each of those different phases. So what I want to do is walk through what this looks like for a client or like an average woman. So I said these are sort of the timelines that it works, 12 to 16 weeks. So just remember, it's like a year is the whole cycle, and each phase is 12 to 16 weeks, which would be like 3 to 4 months. So the first cut, which we've all been doing right now during the Nourish project, is coming to an end. And since we did the first week or two of sort of eating intentionally and then getting your baseline macros, those of you who have been in a cut have been doing about 10 weeks of a cut. So you could go, depending on how you're feeling, for another like 2 to even 6 weeks. But like I said, if you feel like you're approaching a plateau, if you feel like you just need a break, if you feel like you have, a vacation or something like that coming up where you just want to be able to eat more, that would be a good time to do it. And then, Caroline or anyone else I'm working with who started in a reverse, you're going to just sort of come into the cycle at the reverse stage. So a diet break, minimum 1 week, or from here, if you feel like you've reached your weight loss goal or you just don't feel like going back into another cut, you could just skip this diet break and go right into a reverse. But if you feel like I have more weight I want to lose, I plan on doing a second phase 2 cut, then you still have to take a minimum 1 week diet break, 2 if you want 10 days. So at the end of tonight, I'm going to talk about the option to continue working with me in my level 2 program. And I'll send out information on that as well. But I really like to continue working with clients because I find that taking a diet break is one of the scariest things that I have clients do, because we're going to bring your calories way up to maintenance level. And I have had clients over and over again say, oh, I'm like scared. I'm scared to take the diet break. Like I've been super disciplined. I've been finally losing weight. Like it took a while to get it right. I've been losing weight. I don't want to, gain weight. I don't want to lose my progress. And I'll say this. Number one, You're not going to lose your progress. This is necessary for your long-term metabolic health. Number two, we're only bringing your calories up to maintenance level. So it's not a free for all. It's not like 2 weeks of cheat days. It is still tracking. It's still hitting those protein goals and those macro targets. It is still disciplined. It's just a little more leeway and a little more room for fun food because your protein is going to stay the same, but your carbs and your fat are going to go up. And some clients feel like they also need sort of like a mental health break from tracking. And they're like, I just don't even want to track for like 2 weeks. That totally works as well. But if you feel like, okay, I'm good on tracking, but I'm only taking a diet break because you're making me, Annie, then by all means, keep tracking, hit those maintenance numbers for a week minimum, longer if you want. And then we'll go into the phase 2 cut. And this, you need to recalculate your macros because your body weight is going to be different than when you started in the beginning. And from being in a cut for, the previous 12 to 16 weeks, your metabolism may be a little bit adapted. So you're going to have to adjust for your new weight and then a little bit for adapted metabolism. So, again, that's something I really like to help clients with. So it's not just going back to your old macros, it's the new macros for your new body, your new metabolism. And then you can go into that cut for another 12 to 16 weeks. And usually what I see is clients' weight stays pretty much the same, usually within 2 to 3 pounds during the diet break. And it flushes right out as soon as we go back into phase 2 cut because they're energized, they've had a break, their body's had a break, it's rebuilt up that metabolism and it's ready to like shed the body fat again. So from there, after that second cut, again, you're done when you're just like, I'm done. Or when you start to hit a plateau, you're still hitting your macros, you're doing all the things we've talked about to get through a plateau, drinking more water, sleeping more, taking rest days, walking more fiber, you're doing all that stuff. And you're like, my body is just like done losing weight. That's a sign that you're ready to reverse. Or if you are like, everything's chugging along, everything's great. If you hit that 16 weeks, it is time to go into reverse. It is mandatory for your long-term metabolic and hormonal health. And sometimes your mind might be there, but your body's just like done. And that happened to me when I wanted to lose weight for our wedding. I had gained a ton of weight when we were dating. Fred is an amazing cook and he's from Alabama. So he cooked me like Southern food all the time. And, just dating and being engaged, we went on dates and had drinks. And so I was, I followed this formula, coach myself through it. And I had timed it out exactly to like hit that peak goal weight right at our wedding. And I was down to it like a month early. And I thought, okay, I'm going to lose a little more weight for this next month. And my body was like, nope. And my mind was like, nope. And I was just done. But because I knew the cycle, I didn't get real down on myself. I didn't beat myself up or even try to be like, oh, I just need to like buckle down more. I just knew it's time for a reverse. You can only do so much. You can control what you put into your body and, all the inputs, all those process steps, but you cannot control the way that your body reacts. When your body's done with a cut, your body's done with a cut, and you have to listen to it and you have to keep nourishing that body. Okay, so then the next step is the reverse up to maintenance. So depending on where you were on the cut and how slowly you want to build up. So again, a maximum of additional 50 to 100 calories per week. And then we get to maintenance, you can stay there or go into a small surplus. When I say small, I would say like 100 to 200 calories per day surplus with the goal of building muscle. And then from there, after 16 weeks, you can go back and do a cut. And again, this 16 weeks is a combination of the reverse plus maintenance phase. Any questions about that before I go into an example, some numbers? Okay. Cool. So I just want to give you some numbers of how this might look on like an average woman. So, and if you start with a woman weighing 200 pounds and her goal weight is around 175 pounds. So the first phase 1 diet, 12 to 16 weeks, she loses about a pound a week, which is great progress. Again, everyone's like healthy progress is going to be different, but anywhere from like a half a pound to a pound and a half, depending on how much body fat you have to start, is a good healthy amount. So she's losing like a pound a week. Super great job. She takes this diet break. And she stays roughly around 185 pounds. But remember, her goal is to get down to 175. So she finishes her diet break, after her vacation or whatever, she goes back into the phase 2 cut for another 12 to 16 weeks. So this time, she loses 10 pounds. And this phase goes a little bit slower. And it goes slower because she's leaner, so she has less to lose. And she has a little bit of a slower metabolism from cut number 1. And that's important to know and not be frustrated if you do the second cut. It's going to go a little bit slower. And that's why if you keep doing diet after diet after diet, it's going to just like shut down. So that's why 2 is the maximum. Okay, so then she gets to the end of that phase. She's down to 175 pounds. Awesome. She's hit her goal weight, but she's not done, right? We're going to baby step her calories up to get to her maintenance calories, and her weight's going to stay around 175. Let me just check the chat. Can we access the videos? Yes. You guys will have access to all this forever. It's just all in the Google Drive. So here's where this to me gets really exciting. So she does her reverse, goes into maintenance, and she goes into a building phase where she is eating a small calorie surplus, keeping her protein really high, and lifting weights, working out. Her weight starts at 175 and it goes up to 180. But she's mostly been putting on muscle and a little bit of fat. It's not that she's just sitting around, getting fat or, just gaining weight. It's very intentional. And so not a problem, nothing to be concerned about. But now she goes into year 2, this round 2 of this full cycle. And now her goal is only to lose 5 pounds because she wants to get back to that original goal, 175. And so she does that in the phase 2, but this 175 looks different. It's leaner, it's stronger, it's more muscle, it's less fat than the previous 175. So it might be the same weight, but it might be a whole different pant size or another inch or 2 off the waist, and stronger, leaner, feeling more energized, all that good stuff. Okay. That's all I have about that. I have 2 announcements before I wrap up for the night, but do you guys have any questions about this before I go on? Caroline, was that everything your heart desired to know?
Yes, although I do have one tiny question. I think it was like maybe week 3, I'd have to look at the Google Docs, where you taught us how to calculate our macros. Should we use that lesson based on, whatever place and time we are to figure out?
And that,
okay.
And that formula is in your check-in sheet, which it's one of the tabs in your check-in sheet, which you will always have, whether you guys continue working with me or not, you'll always have access to that. So you can just plug in your current weight, height, age, and your goals and stuff like that, and adjust it. Okay, so 2 announcements before we wrap up for the night. Okay, so one is at the end of the Nourish Project, I love to see everyone's transformations, and I call this the best transformation giveaway because I'm going to pick one winner, and you get a prize, $50 gift certificate. But I really would love for everyone to do this because I look at your whole transformation, your body, your energy, your mindset, and I really want to know how this program affected you. So what I need from all of you is by next Monday, so the Monday following our last call, it's like a week and a half from now, upload your ending weight and your measurements and your progress pics into the check-in sheet and the Google folders, and then answer these 4 questions, which I will also send to you guys and paste in the Facebook group, so you don't need to write them down right now necessarily. But questions are: what was the most helpful thing you learned through the Nourish Project? How have you transformed body, mind, and energy? What was the key to your transformation? And what was your favorite part of the Nourish Project? And I will pick one winner. Sometimes they've been ties in the past and get a prize. But like I said, I really hope that everyone will, submit all this end stuff and answer these questions and really think about, how you have transformed in the last 12 weeks or so working together. And then any questions about that? Okay, cool. And then the second thing is, after I finish this program with clients, I invite everyone. I'm inviting everyone from this group. I don't always, but inviting all of you to join me in my level 2 coaching program. So I usually get questions about this time of the program. They're like, what's happening next? Like, this is ending, like what's the next step? And this is really the next step, is the level 2 coaching. Because like we just went over, this is really like a year-long cycle, and there are a lot of ups and downs. There's difficult times in life, and there's, knowing how and when to reverse, how and when to go into that second cut, how and when to take a diet break, and then dealing with all the mindset stuff related to that can be pretty challenging. And what I found from my clients who have done level 2 coaching with me is that they say, the initial diet, the initial losing weight was not the hard part. The hard part is maintaining it and learning how to really make those habits rock solid, automatic habits that are deeply ingrained, and that they've gotten a ton of benefit out of continuing to work with me in the level 2 coaching. And so what that looks like is you guys basically know all the basics. I've taught you as much as I could of everything I know over the last 11, 12 weeks. So it's not like a formal lecture or anything like that. It's a small, intimate group, one-on-one coaching on a stage is what I call it. So essentially very similar to the one-on-one check-ins we do at the beginning of the night with the Nourish Project, but we'll go, more in deep with everyone. I like to keep each of my Nourish Project cohorts together as a group because you guys have already bonded and formed relationships. So whoever wants to continue working with me, I will do a survey to figure out what time works best for everybody. And then we do a weekly coaching call and the similar email check-in to what we do in this one right now. So I will send you guys email info for that, and I'm happy to answer any questions about it right now too. If you guys have any, Miriam or Caroline, if you guys have any questions. Okay.
Very quick question.
Yeah.
Is it something that just like would continue, or would it start up in a month, or like what does that part of it look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I keep it going like right away because I want everyone to keep their momentum and keep keep their results and keep their momentum. So for this group, I'd probably survey everyone and be like, do you want a week off or do you want to just keep right going? But it would start up very quickly. And then the time commitment is either 6 or 9 months. And so I would say usually about half to a third of my clients from the Nourish Project continue, and then most of them do the full 9 months. So we end up working together for a full year, and really I love being able to support you guys through everything that comes at you, and as your goals change and shift, and as your body changes and shifts. And those calls are like about an hour, but what I do is if you tell me like, hey, I only have like 15 minutes today. Can I go first or can I go last? That's no problem. So I kind of set it up that you can stay for the whole call, or you can kind of like pop on and pop off if your schedule demands that.
Do you like, let's say if I decide to take a break, but then want to come back in a couple of months, is that do you kind of start over with that, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can start with level 2 if you want in a few months. I have normally I've had clients either just go right away or come back and do a Nourish project again. But we can figure out something that works for you and your life for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything else? Any other questions? I'm happy to answer them now if you guys have anything else.
Sorry, one more question. So
That's okay.
I know as I was kind of, reaching out to other coaches and before we kind of started to work together, some people do just macro check-ins, dude. Do you do that for a small fee? And if, let's say I want to take a break for a little bit, maybe come back, later on, but maybe just need a check-in on macros.
I really just do this. Sometimes if clients have been working with me for a really long time and they feel like, okay, I'm ready to fly a little bit, then I do. But I've found, because I have tried that with clients, and what I find is once they don't have the accountability, the weekly calls, it's almost like they're wasting their money by, just having once in a while. And I don't want your guys' money. I want you to have amazing results. So I stepped away from doing that because what I saw was clients need that weekly accountability and look each other in the eye and say, how's it going? What are you going through? What are our goals for next week? And how do we need to adjust? So, okay, I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to end it right there. You guys have a wonderful night. And like I said, I will send more information and I'm happy to chat if you want to just set up a call, can answer all your questions and we can figure out what makes sense and what would work for you. And yeah, that's all I have for tonight. So have a great night. And I will get you guys your check-ins and the recording and everything on Friday by around lunchtime this week. All right. Okay. Bye. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you.